Hello fellow AFL enjoyers, it's Matt here with another Supercoach video, and we did pretty poorly this week, 2-3, 6-3, and dropped out of the top 2,000, which is not ideal. So not a great week. No Gorn has costed me, no Dacos when he got that 170 has costed me. But look, it is what it is. We're probably only a couple 100 points away from top 500, which top 500 is what I was 3 weeks ago, and I'd like to get back there. But anyway, so we had some late mail, sort of late mail with Clary going out. Was it on the Thursday? Whatever it was. And it meant that I couldn't really go ahead and bring Neil, who I wanted to bring in. I think it worked out, kind of for the best, because otherwise I was going to, if that was the case, I was going to bring in Bustlinger. He ended up being the sub, and then you end up with another crap rookie. Anyway, what I did do though, so Nevitt, Marias, Hall, and Gross were all out, so I had to bring in Hustwaite early, which I was happy to do anyway. And he pulled an 82, so we got a nice little on-field score. My other trade was Clary to Rowan Marshall, chilling over here in the flex spot. I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest with you. We got us a 112. He's gone up 20k, and the break even is 31. So he's going to jump up in value quite a bit. This is the type of player that we want at 450k, in my opinion. He's a dude that I like. I liked in Supercoach, more so Supercoach than actual footy, but he's one of those dudes, he gets the ball, he chucks it on the boot, gets you some points. He missed a set shot, so he could have gotten maybe like a 120, but now he's got Carlton and West Coast coming up, which is pretty cool. Then Gold Coast, who he's done okay against, and then Melbourne, which is not ideal. But then after that, the run opens up a little bit again with Bulldogs. Timmy's solid ruck, but Marshall, you can body him. Collingwood, so it opens up a little bit again, which is nice. Now, we did that, but look, the issue with this team is underperforming Primo. So Zorko, a 90, he managed the 95 with a bunch of junk time kicking at the end. Roberts. What are we doing? Roberts, look, I'm not too concerned about Roberts, but Brayshaw, Dakes, Rosie, Chera, that's just not on. Shout out to Will Ashcroft for getting the 130 right at the end, last game, and getting himself another medal. Shout out to him. Look, so that's the concern with the team, because the 2-3 is a nice score, but just when everyone else is getting 2-4s, 2-5s, and the midfield drops like that, no good. But anyway, I guess the other thing was that everyone would have VC'd Sherry or Gorn. So there was no making up extra points, with, a pod captaincy, because everyone would have gone. There's no reason not to VC Sherry if you had him. Anyway, trades this week, I don't know. There's a lot of players that I like to bring in. There's a lot of decent bring-ins this week. If we have a look at, I'm going to go top. We'll go downgrade options. So I'm going to go 220, but 211k. Lawrence, I don't know much about him, to be honest with you. Do we have CBAs open? Young fella, did you get CBAs, young fella? No, I didn't get CBA. So he's probably just, let's search up the young fella. Oh, a little bit of a spoiler here with Keidean Coleman up here. Wing. Yeah, all right. So we're going to just get another Marias. I'm not going for another Marias early, so that's not happening. Hustwaite, if you don't have him, 100% go get him. What's going on? Back to 20. Fonty. Cool. I don't want to go early on a GWS defender. We just lost one in Stone, and they lost in the derby. So all of a sudden, I can't just go get Fonty. Boxall, Philippou coming back. Does it relegate Boxall as a sub? Maybe. I don't think his TOG was too high, so that's not completely ideal. Look, there's not a hell of a lot. The one that I'm most interested in is with Hayden Young out, Erasmus again. I'm going to talk about Erasmus again. He let me down, and I couldn't bring him in I don't know if it was last week or the week before, whatever it was. But so that becomes an option, Erasmus. I think he's going to come in. Like, he has to, right? Like, Hayden Young out, you got to give the kid an opportunity. The thing that's annoying with him is that I had a look at this earlier with Mr. Erasmus, is unless he had limited game time, 16 disposals and 2 tackles and 2 frees against. That's trash, bro. That is trash. Like, the previous week, you could have brought him in perhaps, 30 disposals and 9 tackles, but not with what he just did there. So that's a bit of a concern. Look, the good thing for him is that if he comes in and he's not the sub, we'll know because they play on the Thursday straight away. So nice and easy there. Now, Sandy Brock maybe. I don't know how long McGovern's out for, but Sandy Brock might get an opportunity, but he might not. They don't like playing key defenders. They're playing Jinby as a key defender. They're playing what's his name? The guy who's killed me as well, Marich, another guy who's killing me. They play him as a key defender. Like, there's no, they might not even put him. Actually, Oscar Allen's playing key defender. So why is Sandy Brock going to get an opportunity? If he does, will I bring him in? I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable having another Carroll, Stone, Sandy Brock. I'm sick of these bad rookies, Anyway, so trades. So we don't have much in way of downgrades. Upgrades, though. Now, let's do a little... Oh, wrong one. Players. Let's do something cheeky. I'm going to go minimum for that. And I'm going to sort by break evens. Lowest break even. So Chad Warner, 26. That's the tempting one for me. If you were to go between him and Rowan Marshall, I think you go... Look, if you've got the flex spot available, maybe Rowan Marshall, just because I think he's more of a bona fide scorer, whereas Chad Warner is up and down. But I'm so tempted by Chad because of this run. Essendon league scores, and he's done a couple decent scores on him on the past. Carlton, he got a 172 against, and they don't tag unless randomly Chincotta comes in for a tag, but I doubt it. Melbourne, a 118. So, and then Adelaide don't really tag. Richmond, this run is juicy. Port, maybe there's Willem Drew, but I don't think Willem Drew will go to him. I think he would go to Heaney. You'd go to the Bull. So I'm really tempted by him. Marriage, nah. Tommy Powell, Tommy Pickles, our boy, no. What's Tommy Powell? Look, actually, we can't. No, it can't happen. He's got a Brisbane. He's got the bad buy around. There's no way you can go Tom Powell. Anyway, those are guys that I'm considering on the cheap. We go a little bit more expansive, and Tim English we can't do. Amon, interesting, but nah. The ones that are interesting me is Jordan Dawson. So his break even's dropped off at a 74. Richards, no, not really interested. Lockie Neal, we can still go Lockie Neal. Get one of those big dog scorers, those proper primos. Got North this week. I think that's where I'm leaning at this point. Because my midfield, I'm kind of sick of having those middle of the table primos, you know what I mean? Like those average-ish, those guys are in, top 10 to 20 range. I want top 10s, you know what I mean? I want the proper ones. Now, how would it look like if we bring him in? Look, first of all, I want to trade Pryor. I can trade Lindsay, and let's say we trade away Levi, for example. That gives us a lot of cash to work with. Now, what am I doing with that? We're going Lockie Neal. We're going, pending he's playing, we're going to go Erasmus for now. And we'll wait on Boxall. If Erasmus isn't out, it becomes Boxall. And then we got 303K. Now there was a little spoiler alert earlier. I want to do it. I want to go early on Keidean Coleman. Now we're gonna complete that. As crazy as this may sound, Keidean Coleman killed it. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back and find him. We're going to go back to Keidean Coleman. 24 kicks, 5 tackles, 10 marks. He just cruised his way in. The risk with getting him earlier is the sub factor. It is purely the sub factor. And you know what? He might not even get named because Fletcher's solid. They'd have to kick Fletcher out, or they'd have to kick Ainsworth out, or or Wilmot. They don't want. They're all good. They're all good players. They've all been doing fine. The Coleman is top. Let's go back. What did he do? Yeah, this little period here. Look at this, man. It was 2 years ago now. It was 2 years ago when he came in and he just went crazy. What do I need out of Coleman? If we were to go get him early, what do we need? Oh, it's glitching. Give us the projector. Give us the old projector. Hey, what's going on here? My projector's not working. I'm going to refresh the page here. Because the projector is everything. Is it going to work now? Yes. All right. To Coleman. Thank you. Let's say we get 90s out of him. It goes up to 400k. It's a good value there. But he could potentially be, at this price, could be a 95. Could be a 95, and then it's, it's really good. Now, obviously, you can wait. There's no rush to go and get this guy in. However, look at the team now. Don't have any, bad rookies on the field here. We're going to be Erasmus, is not the best. We got Lockie Neal. Don't have any rookies here. All of a sudden, if Coleman he's versing North Melbourne, gets a 90, they bring him back in. They bring him back in for an easy game. They bring him back in. They give him 4 minutes, and he gets a 95. All of a sudden, there's people out there with Matt Carrolls in there. There's people with Zach Reeds. I can compete with the Zach Reed people. You know what I mean? I'm competing with those people, with Coleman. Or the trainer people. I traded both of those guys out in 1 week. Look, this is a possibility here. I'm a risk taker. As you can see, I brought in Marshall last week. Who brought in Marshall? If we look at Marshall, what's his ownership, man? We're gonna go players. I'm willing to take risks here. I've just dropped away. I need a way to sort of sneak myself into contention again. And going early on guys, and hoping for good scores. It's a very fantasy play that I think about it. But if we go round own change, what are we looking at here? So Raul Marshall, round own change, 4.8, season own, 5 point. So 1% of top oneers brought him in. That's like, what is that? Like, I don't know. I'm not going to do math. Not a lot of people. Actually, it says it there. 12, 18. 18 people brought him in. 18. I was one of those 18. I took a risk there. How many people are bringing in my boy, Kitty? 9. I could be one of those 9. You know what I mean? I could be one of those 9 that just goes and gets him early. Dumb, perhaps, but I'm willing to do it. But maybe not. We'll just undo for now. Look, there is another dude I want to bring in, and it's there is another dude I want to bring in, and that's Chad Warner. Even though I've already got a stacked forward line, I don't mind having an extra. If it's value, it's value. I don't care. So Ashcroft and Marias, and we just go get, let's say it's Raz. And whoa. Now this doesn't look too bad either. We can, if Stone is out again, we can just loop Carroll and Pryor again. Hopefully get it right this time. Warner comes in there. We can loop Raz and Lindsay. And then we've got Pryor. We can get rid of him next week. He might go down a little bit. We save a boost, though, in this case. But I've got Warner and Pryor on the field instead of Neal and Keidean Coleman on the field. But I do get to keep Lindsay. How much? Yeah, I think we've only got one. I don't think we're going to get much out of him, to be honest with you. I'm done with him. I'm done with him. I don't know. I'm happy to just cash him out and then watch him burn me like Zach Reed and Trainer and Max Hall and all those other dudes I traded out early. Let's update this. I think, look, at this stage, I'm going to do it. At this stage, we're going early on Kitty. I'll see if I can. I probably should do an update video later in the week to see what's going on here. But we're going to go this, man. We're going to go with a bona fide gun. Ooh, and he has a nice run too, from memory. Yeah, North, Melbourne, and then the Hawks. Hawks might tag him perhaps. Essendon could potentially tag him, but nah, we're bringing in a gun. We're bringing in a bona fide mid. What do we have to do here? I have to bring in. I gotta do some BS here now. I gotta bring Marias back in, and now we can get rid of this trade. What? I think I got it to work. But that's if we go on undo changes, we're taking out 3 rookies for Primo, potential like pseudo keeper, and Raz. That's what I'm thinking. Let's optimize. Yeah. Hell yeah. But no. Hey. Why is Cleary on the field over? Actually, we can do that if we wanted to. We can do Cleary on the field. Depending on. Yeah. Actually, this is actually pretty good. I don't mind this at all. Cleary and Erasmus as our what's it called? As our loop. That's excellent, man. And who are we gonna VC? Maybe Dakes or maybe Brayshaw into. I actually don't know. It's a weird week. Maybe even, mate, we just VC Marshall against TDK. TDK gives up scores. If we look at Ruck DVPs, Carlton was. Oh, okay, they're neutral now. I don't know what I'm going to do there. Anyway, this is what I'm thinking. Am I crazy for going way early on Coleman? One of the 9? Let me know. Look, I'm going to do a little look into the leagues because I've got to give credit where credit's due to Georgie on the pod. We go to the Supercoach Enjoyers League 2025. Here it is, man. Good on him. Like, Marich killed me. So he beat me with Clark in his team. You know what I mean? Like, that's sad. And Flynn. It's a sad state of affairs for me. It really is. It's not good. Yeah, now shout out to him. But also, we got to shout out to him again because he did the double on me. We got to do a little Draftland detour. And we go into game day. Now, credit to him for Classic, but in draft, when it eventually loads, the Hill Giants, he beat me by about 70. But this is with McGovern out. If we look at his minutes played 50, points per minute 1.2. So he was on track for, if you just played the Fremantle minutes, an 80 or 90. So let's add an extra 40 points there. And then Hayden Young. Let's look at points per minute here. 1.5. I played 32 minutes. Add an extra 60 minutes there, and that would have been the win on its own. So yeah, no, that's I'm pretty dirty about that one, and it's bad. It's bad. I look at the league and I look at the ladder. Look at this, man. What is this? I've won the last 2 years in a row. This is BS. Anyway, but no, shout out to Georgie, man. Good stuff. The fact that Georgie's getting W's in draft is such a welcome change, to be honest with you, because it just didn't happen in the past. This is new. This is quite new for him, and I'm sure it's exciting. We have Jimby and Tonic this week. I think he actually got the highest. He got the highest score this week. So I'm a very competitive league now that I look at it. You know, if you look, actually, we'll go a little. View fixture. And actually, back to game there. Yeah, Jimmy and Tonic and Hellas, the teams that are below me, got the highest score this round. So it's like we're a pretty competitive little draft unit, which is great, to be honest with you. But yeah, the forward line, crazy. Philippou, we brought in Switkowski as a little loop attempt, and that didn't work, obviously. But yeah, now we've got McGovern and Hayden Young out, which is pretty bad. But look, I think there's still a bit of depth. We've got Philippou to play with. We've got Graham. We've got Myers to play with. Henry hopefully comes back soon. Switkowski will be dropped. I don't have any waiver claims yet, but I do have actually, you know what? Live declining of. I was offered Oliver for Jack Steele. A live declining. Sorry, Don. That's not happening. We don't know about what Clary's going on in. What's going on in his personal life. We don't know what's happening, so we're gonna leave it. But anyway. Back to classic. What do you reckon? Coleman, early, dumb? Yes, dumb. It is dumb. But can you see the thought behind it, that we're potentially bringing in some high scores at a cheap price? Or do I just have to find a way to get Warner in and just bank that value and bank that great run that Sydney have? Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.